Do you know what I'm called?
Mrs. Heathcote?
That's it, yes, I'm Mrs. Heathcote. And of course I'm very bad on learning names, and I don't know what you're all called. So I'll have to gradually try and learn these names as we go along. Or you may find it useful to wear your names next time, just so that, you know, I could read it, being a bit slow on remembering names. But I'm very fast on remembering faces. If I remember you all, I remember all of you from last Monday. Now, do you remember what went on last Monday? Well, let's remember some of the things. Do you remember what the brothers did? These people are fishermen, fisher folk. And these two men here are brothers. See now how they do their work. One of these two brothers is older than the other one. And you usually can tell.
This one is best for you. No, sit here. It is safer.
And each day they fish, the younger brother and the elder brother. And later, when we learn of what happened to them, we must remember that one was an older brother and one was a younger brother. There may be things you would wish to ask these brothers about being younger or older, and if there is anything, they will tell you.
I have caught a fish.
Well done, brother. I shall tell father. He will be well pleased.
He will be proud.
Proud.
It is important for this inquiry that you remember that these two brothers also have relatives and a family life, as most people have. And in their family they have ways of doing things, as most families have.
We will eat.
I caught another fish, Grandmother.
Then you must have more rice.
Stop.
Why does the younger brother have any chopsticks?
It is a privilege in our race.
These brothers share the sea with other people.
Look here, this is a pipeline. I think about 8 meters into the sea. Could you wade in and measure, please?
It is 8 meters.
A peg in there.
She'll be the next boat on the map.
You know, it seems like the one with the hard hat's always being ordered around.
You will see that some people in this area use the sea as giver of gifts and provider for their livelihood. And they thank the gods. Some use the sea to get rid of that waste which they do not want.
The waste.
It is the power of choice. What to keep and what to discard. Stop. There is a question from the court.
Artificial dye. Who gave her permission to throw in that rubbish?
The common fisher folk use the sea to throw back their gifts of fish, and we use it to throw back our waste.
The brothers were flexible, and they met new challenges. One stayed with the sea, and the other went to a new kind of work to learn more skill. And the younger brother took the longest rod. And many kinds of fish came to the rod of the younger brother there. Some were good fish, and some were not so good. But the family thrived. The fisher brother and the factory brother.
These are fine fish. You have done well.
I bring money.
Fine money. Now we have fish and money. It is good.
Get more things. What did the factory person bring in? Who said she brought money? So what difference do you think?
I wonder if that's because he's new or something.
I think we could have gone better with a bloody...
But food continued to be plentiful.
Come, we will eat.
And the family were well fed. With the money and with the fish. But there were signs, small at first, and personal. And soon there was a pattern. The marketplace awoke, and families consulted, and feelings rose. 2 and 2 make 4. But finally, action was called for.
Hello.
How do you do?
Would you like to be shown around our factory?
Yes, go and see what is killing our people.
We have all the latest equipment.
The machinery is just round the corner.
I see.
I assure you.
See, it's chaos.
Then what is the problem?
We have a case.
We have a case.
We have a case.
We have a case.
I need to get this down in writing. Do you have a pen?
I have a pen.
And finally, people began to speak out.
I can honestly say to the whole world that my company has done nothing wrong.
I am speaking on behalf of the board of directors, and I can say quite categorically that this whole thing has been blown completely out of proportion.
Will nobody listen to the people?
Somebody, please help me.
Next week there will be a delegation from the United Nations who will ask you about this matter. So it's important to find out as much as we can whilst we've got these people who've been representing the problem of the Minamata fishermen to us. So, have a talk amongst yourselves. When you want to ask anything, get over there and get as much information as you can.
Will the fish poison?
By the stuff in the sea.
Well, have a look.
We think they were poisoned. We're not sure. It doesn't look too good, does it?
The chisel management.
Yeah.
There's nothing we can do until somebody can come up to us and make a plea against what we are doing. We can just carry on business as usual.
If she says it's not done what the told her to do, if she didn't do it, she will ask her what her opinion is if her sister. She was older. She's not older.
What's your question?
What's the sister? What's her opinion? Which sister? Dumping the rubbish in the sea.
How are we going to get to her to persuade her that it's best to bury it?
If you go on strike, that's one, but...
Yeah, but would you go on strike first, or would you try and persuade first? Which do you think would be best, Carl?
Persuade her. But if she says...
Well, what I thought about Thursday afternoon is that if now you can decide what you think would be important to explain to the United Nations representatives, if we get together in our groups now, I think everybody knew that those people thought they were very informed, didn't they? Do you remember anything else? After the factory. It's all really here, isn't it? It's on the table, yes.
Aluminium poisoning.
The mercury that came out of the aluminium works, yes, the poisoning. And then, of course, there was all this business of the lawyer, wasn't there? And so on. Now, what we're going to do today is just have a look at some of the power those people had. We know that the elder brother had the power to tell the younger brother what to do, don't we? Can you remember any other sorts of power they had that you saw happen last week? Come round the table and have a look and see if this reminds you of any of the sorts of powers they had. Yes. And what sort of power was this? I can't remember it. That's right. The older person got the chopsticks and the younger person didn't have any. I thought an important power was the power to have a plan and make a building happen. Do you remember? I heard her say, and the pipe will come down here, and I thought, she's only got a piece of paper in her hand, and with one piece of paper, she's going to build a factory. You know, and you got the feeling it's finished. Last Monday, you saw what happened to some fishermen, right? And you saw what happened to the fish, and they're here. Do you think it was true what happened last week? Do you think it's really happened in the world? Yes, it has. And it's happened and it's been photographed. It's in a book. And all the people's lives are in the book. all those men in glasses, all those hands that got damaged, they're all in the book. And we're standing here in England looking at this book, and some of the hands we're looking at in this book are still there in Minamata Bay. And the world is worrying in case it happens again. Because they do say that it can happen anywhere. So what we're going to try to do is think now, how could the world deal with it better next time? Because when it happened here, nobody knew what to do. But now it's happened, people are beginning to say, well, what can we do in case it happens again? So what I thought is we could be a kind of advisors to the United Nations, because we saw Minamata, didn't we, on Monday? Something of what happened. So I've invented a letter. I've invented it. I mean, it isn't a proper United Nations letter. And I'm just going to pass this letter round so that you can all read this letter I've invented. It is believed that the power of photographs to arrest attention and allow people to consider the inner meaning of events is one of the means whereby the United Nations may communicate to all peoples via the universal language of pictures some of the matters of world concern. Now, I don't know you people, you see, so if you are the sort who think to yourself, well, I don't understand it, but I won't say anything, you know, do some people work like that in this class because they're a bit scared of saying it, like, or you feel a bit of an idiot if you don't understand it? Because I used to feel a fool when I was at school. If I didn't understand, if nobody else said anything, I used to keep quiet, you know. Are you a bit that way sometimes? Are you? Yeah. I still am, really, sometimes. But amongst us, we can say if we don't understand, because it's going to be important. Right. Is there anything else you don't understand?
Meaning of the events.
The meaning of the events, yes. Now, where is that? Oh, yes, to consider the inner meaning of events. It is believed that the power of photographs to make people look at them, I'm using the words you gave me, and allow people to consider the inner meaning of events.
What happens there?
Allow people to consider what's going on there. So, do you think you're ready to make some pictures with me that the United Nations could understand? Now, shall we make one picture all together first, and then we get the hang of how to do it? Yes. Okay. Now, how are we doing?
We need somebody who could act the part properly.
He doesn't have to, he just has to be still.
Me? Who's not nervous? Me?
Oh, yeah, well, being nervous, I agree, is different. Yeah.
Just act the model. Darren, you.
Right, let's have a look. You hold that then. Let's just stand away from him. Now, you don't have to pretend anything. We're not in the pretending game. We're in the truth game, right? Now, here we have then... can I just have the two representatives of the United Nations, please, so that you can see how it's working out? I'm going to talk to the people in the picture. Can I ask you something, fisherman?
Yeah.
Do you have any pain?
Yeah.
In the hands?
Yeah.
Yes. Did you ever expect this fisherman would have been able to look after his dad like that? Miss Jones, there's somebody knocking at my door. I told you I do not wish to be disturbed. Ridiculous. Oh, it's nice not to do much. people. I have enough secretaries. You're not supposed to come in here. You're supposed to see my secretary. Get out. Please, go on. You're interfering with my work. Out.
We need doctors.
Pardon?
Men are dying. We need doctors.
I'm no doctor, madam. I am the manager of Chisso. Now, get out, and if you want a doctor, go and find one. It's nothing to do with me. This is how it was. These women came into my factory with no permission and started asking me for a doctor. It's no good looking at me. I am not a medical person. Have you no work to do?
No.
Well, you should be ashamed of yourselves. I do a 12-hour day.
And you're reading the newspaper?
Oh, I'm reading the business news. I always have to calculate my figures. And if you would go away, I could concentrate on it. Will you just leave me? You can't have any business with me. You're fisher folks' wives, aren't you? From down in the Minamata Bay area?
Yes.
Well, get back where you belong. Get back where you belong.
We need some help.
I give help through the proper channels. The proper channels are my secretary and an appointment book, not women coming up here in their fishing clothes. This is outrageous. Out you go. I shall summon help. You say you want help?
Yes.
I'll help you out. Guard. Right.
Would you like to speak to your first, sir? I think this young lady. This one is. I think we'd like to know why you brought this fish with you, if you wouldn't mind telling us.
Just to come and show that it's bad and that I have a husband, so I get sick and we need doctors.
Okay. Would you like to know anything more about the fish, sir?
Why is it blood?
Because it is bad.
Bad.
Yes.
What's bad?
It's a different colour from this fish. Yes, there.
Oh. So they seem to have brought two fish, one to show which is a good fish. Would that be correct?
Why are you so angry? This is the first time you've come, is it?
Yes.
Did you not try to make an appointment?
No. No.
Why not?
It's too urgent.
If it's as urgent as that, I should suggest you went down to the village and saw the fishermen. I don't see why they come to me about this.
Can we see the fishermen? Can we come to your home and see them?
Yes.
Good. Get them out of my factory.
Would you show us to the village to see the fishermen?
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Now we're going to be thinking in terms of different groups showing different pictures. And so that each of you will be taking probably a new idea, another idea, so that when the United Nations people come along, they can see different pictures all relating to the same problem. And then we've got here somebody buying fish. Do you think that the fish these people or this person is buying would be good fish, or do you think it would be bad fish?
Some bad and some good. Most bad.
Some bad, some good. And we've got here somebody buying fish, and we have another one here of people having a protest meeting to close the factory. Now those are the real pictures.
Can you talk?
Well, you can't talk.
Not in the picture.
No, you can't talk in the picture, but your inner thoughts could be pinned onto you. The thing is, how do we show that this fish has effects? It is actually affecting people. How can we show, how can we connect the disease with that fish in our picture? Now leave me with that problem.
Think about me weight. and kids to support.
Yes, if you think so.
No, because you're the boss.
Yes, I think I will.
Yes, I will. We're just told what we want to do. If we're told to throw the rubbish in the water, we just throw it in.
Well, if someone asked you, like, this rubbish might spoil the water around here.
Well, I'm getting money for it. So if it's easy as that, I'll do it. I'll throw the rubbish in.
I think maybe that's something you need to write down for the United Nations.
Can I ask your character a question? How long have you been fishing here?
Half an hour.
Half an hour. How many fish have you caught?
Just one.
Just one?
Two between them.
Right. Is this a good-sized fish for your bay?
Yeah.
So it's a good size.
Well, there's a part of this whole big story that's about something to do here with bad fish. I've never seen a fish like that before. I don't know, it could be dead. Look what those men have caught. It might be poisonous. So that must have been somebody's. And I'm just wondering where it goes in the story.
Yeah.
Could you read me the bit where you think it should go, and I'll mark it with a cross?
The waste from the chisel was pumped at first into the sea.
Can you bring it? Show me exactly where it is. And waste from Chisholm was pumped at first. Here. Right. So this is the fish picture, the thing that's wrong there. So we'll leave that there. Now, there's this one. I wonder if it's safe to throw the rubbish in the sea. I'm just told what I have to do at work. I was thinking about my job in case I got sacked and thinking about my wife and kids to support. So this is that one then, about the waste. What I'm going to do is put into each hand some small pieces of paper, which I want us to use on this story. Now, all these are words about how people behave and the way they do things in the community. In Minamata Bay, there were fish and fishermen and their families. And they fished. And they bought and sold their fish in the area. They were a community. Now, we're looking at where a bit of thought would have helped. And where there had been an estuary and small houses, there came to be a large, busy building in which household goods were made. Now, do we need the word thoughtful anywhere there where people should have given a bit of thought?
About the busy building. Think about the busy building.
Yes. How about, what do you mean there about the thought? Let's just think how we'd need to be thoughtful in a busy building. Shall we use this one? You're saying another one, are you? Yes? What do you think?
They should have been thoughtful. They should have thought that when they were going to build it, what would have happened if they were going to dump it in the sea, the rubbish?
Do any of the other words fit any of this? Have a look at your word and see whether any of those words fit the behaviour of the people. Deliberate.
They made it deliberate. Built the factory.
They certainly deliberately built it, didn't they? Do you want me to put deliberate there? Do any of the other words fit any of this story that you've got? Where people behaved, you know, and we can think about how they behaved. The businessmen deliberately came. The Chisholm people, can you tell me this? we're thinking of behaving responsibly. Now, can you find any evidence in that story of anybody who behaved in a responsible way? When you read it through.
Still we fished and
Still Chisholm made utensils of aluminium. And there was also compassion.
They had principles for it.
And they had principles.
You know, power and energy.
And they developed power and energy. Right, come on then.
Why? And power, man. Power. Yes, energy.
Are you saying it was their principles that made them speak up? I see. And they were powerful when they spoke up.
And had energy.
And they spoke with some energy. Right. Now then the big test comes. So sit you down. It's all very well to have good ideas about things, but it's a different matter when you have to stand up for things, isn't it? Right. We've filled in the background about what we think about the people's behaviour. Now, before you go to the United Nations, you're going to have to be able to see both sides. Can you think like fishermen? Right. Well, we just imagine that you fishermen have come to talk to the Chisholm people, and I'll be all the Chisholm people. And I warn you, I believe that most of the things I did were very reasonable. And it'll be up to you to try to make me understand your point of view. Right? Now, I understand you are coming to talk to me about what you think we've done wrong at Minamata Bay.
Some of it was wrong, some of it was right.
I'm sure most of it was right, because I am a very responsible person. What are you suggesting I did wrong?
Putting waste into the sea.
We have always found a way of washing our chemicals in water so they get very diluted, and a tiny bit of chemical goes in with a lot of water. Do you know how many millions of gallons we pumped out of Minamata Bay in order to dilute our chemicals? We pumped millions and millions and millions of gallons. Can I just stop it there? Don't let me convince you. I can be very convincing. You stick up for the fishermen and make me see. Now, you know all the things Chisholm did. And I'm sitting in your office. I don't understand why it's taken you so long to help. We're poor folk here. I mean, surely you could have told us that you were going to put this mercury or whatever it is into the sea. Why didn't you tell us?
Well, because we own this part of the sea. This is our land. You don't have to tell us whether you are building like a place for your boat to go in.
Well, we're taking the waste.
We're giving good wages to these people, what they've never had before, and then you're wanting them to go back on the likes of me. I was a poor fisherman, but I came to here and now I had a good wage. Why should we stop when we've got a good wage, a good living? Why do we want to go to poor again?
All right. I can see I'm not going to get far with you lot, am I? You're very convincing. Now, can you move to the next stage in this heat? Can you manage it?
Yeah.
I'm going to give you 2 people. And now they have to put the information to the Court of Inquiry.
Are we prepared to pay? Oh, shall we say within reason?
Delegation wishes to say something on chief legal ready.
Right.
We are now satisfied with the guarantees given by this firm, and we agree with Chisholm that it should not be expected to pay compensation for damage caused by other firms. One point we would like to make to the United Nations is that the compensation should also include damage done to third parties. For example, in this case, animals, cats and other animals that lived off fish products.
Before we discuss the question of third parties, we would just like to say that this firm, within financial reason, because finances are short, is prepared to investigate the possibility of recycling waste products so that we don't have to dump it in the future anyway. On the question of government tests, this firm is concerned.
If I have this round my neck, which of course I really have, how many so that means, and we treat this one really seriously, how many so that means can you think of? You see, you've got a fact, and you're working behind the fact to find out what and why.
Might be a picture of your husband.
It might mean I carry the picture of my husband round. So that means I have a memory there.
Might be a present that your mother gave you.
It might be a keepsake from my mother, a special gift.
Might be lucky.
It might be a charm.
You might have walked into the shop and bought it for someone on holiday, but you found out they're shifted and you couldn't find them.
Yes,
So
I might have bought it intending to give it away, but they're not there anymore, so I've kept it. Now, that is implication. Now, I want you to look at these facts. Anything you see on this map at all that you could say, so that means it's likely that...
You maybe come from work and you might live that way and you might go to see somebody from work to around here in the village.
Yes. Now, if you see that, there's a road there, so it must mean that people can get from there to there, mustn't it? Right? Are there any others you can see? When you come back from work, you get the bus. It must mean that, because there's all these bus stops, yes. This place, I'm going to ask you to agree with me, is the place where we know about. Would you agree with that, just for now?
Yeah.
So, for example, if I tell you what I know about it, I can tell you that my mother used to go to that butcher's shop, so I always go there. Now, let's always all think of something that we know about this place. So, when you've got your idea, think now, would we all know that memory? Right. Which of them shall answer? You will, right? Sorry.
That a canny while ago, his mum might have bought some paint from a shop.
No, she might, she did. Because it's his memory. And what happened about the paint? Let's all invent now a common memory.
It was the wrong colour.
And it was the wrong colour. And
It wasn't enough to paint the dog.
She had to paint half the wall yellow and half the wall brown.
and they had to do half their house yellow and half their house brown. And didn't we all notice? Do you remember?
Good evening. Tonight sees the first programme in a series of unusual programmes, namely an opportunity for local people to see what future developments may be in process of happening in their area. For our first programme, we are in one of the small communities in Newcastle upon Tyne. And to the studio here, we have invited local people who are all interested in any aspect of their locality which may be in for some change. Even the moving of a bus stop can be a serious matter. Our guests are Miss Linda Baker, who works for a firm of store developers who have until now built mainly in the Midlands. Miss Baker has said that she has found people in the North East fascinating with their local customs and interesting ways of talking. Mr. Brian Higgins, Secretary of the local Association of Small Traders, himself a butcher in a small, long-established family business. Mr. Higgins has been known to say that he's against too much change in the area. And lastly, Miss Douglas, personnel manager for the newly established sewing machine works, which has attracted much attention in the area. Tonight, in the presence of our audience, these three people are prepared to conduct their business meeting and invite anyone in the audience, should they wish to interrupt with any questions, opinions, or criticisms, to do so.
Speaking as a local man, and some of my mates in the studio tonight, I'm just wondering, like, where's this factory, this shop, this supermarket? Where's it going to be built?
Right next door to the factory premises. So this is the piece of land here, and it will go there. That's the position. Our proposed site will be there.
So it's not definite then?
Why couldn't you not have, instead of building it there, build it like closer to the village? Because the people who are like going to work there, the mothers, they'll have to come 2 miles, and it's going to cost a lot of bus fare.
Well, I don't know. I'm speaking, of course, and I don't actually live here yet, but I do believe that the land nearer the village has up to now been common land, and it is not available for sale.
Is everybody allowed to go in that shop from the village?
Of course.
But that, if they do go there, if they think get better products, well, the people who own the shops in the little village are going to get bankrupt because of your supermarket.
I'm just wondering about how much it's going to cost me if you see, I don't work anymore. I'm quite old. And does it mean, Mr. Higginson, that I'm going to have to spend a bus fare to go to that new shop?
Well, you see, if people stop shopping in our shops, then we can't keep them open. We're a small family business, is us.
But they never close. You've been open through 2 wars. You would never think of closing, would you?
Times change, though, don't they?
Why don't all the villagers have a vote if they want the place there or not? And that means the most wins.
Does anybody know, I don't know if anybody knows, if you can stop supermarkets if they want to build a shop and prepared to spend the money?
Yes, ma'am.
Is there anybody in the village that knows about laws?
It knows about
Laws.
laws.
They say you can get books. I don't know.
I heard somebody saying something about a petition. Who was that? What was it you were suggesting?
Like all the people, the shops, like make up a petition and go around all the people who live in the village asking who wants the supermarket built and who doesn't, and then put it in front of the council.
Why the council?
Because it's the council's land.
We'll have to close there. I'd like to thank our guests for coming this evening and the people, our guests in the audience from the United States. Good night, everybody.
Yeah, she better. So then we got the worst. Now, do you remember what we did last week when we met? Anybody? Yes? We looked at a village, and then we realised that there were things going on in the village, weren't there? Instead of fishermen and fish, it was a factory and a supermarket and little shops dying, wasn't it? Now today, to bring it right round, the full circle, we are going to be the people that have the problems. Okay, shall I tell you what the sort of factory is we're going to make? You know, what we actually make?
Aluminium.
No. I thought we'll lay off aluminium. We'll have something that's, in one way, a lot easier to do, and in another way, a lot harder. We're going to be the best cream cake factory there's ever been. Making cream cakes, right? Come round the board. Now let's design a cream cake that everybody in the world would like to buy if they could? Tell me, you know, is it round, square, oblong, rectangular, whatever? Now, you're packing Easter cakes. You're packing Valentine cakes. You're packing the new design. You're packing the big 20s, the super 20s. You three are packing Valentine cakes. You are... Maybe it's near Valentine's Day. It is, isn't it? 4 days to go and there's a big order in. Right.
That's normal speed, is it?
Have a walk round. See if you can find
Just once more through.
You can stay with me.
Let's
Have a
see.
walk round. See if you can find a cold place to stay. Who's that fellow? What's he doing? What's he doing? Has he said anything to you?
And this is Valentine.
Well, listen, if he comes round, make a note of what he asks you, and then we'll find out what he's doing. I don't understand that. Hey, has that fella been to see you? No. This man is going to start to bring trouble, and we're just going to have to cope with it. The Minamata people didn't realise in time that things might be difficult. As soon as you spot anything happening that might cause trouble in the works, will you mention it? And that way we can avoid it maybe, or improve matters. Right? So from now on, he isn't going to be just wandering about. He might start to be quite difficult. The only thing that is not going to cause trouble is the quality of our work. Right? Perfect work. So that if there's any trouble, we know where it comes from.
Number 7, where's number 7?
Keep your ears open.
Number 7. You take these boxes down to the delivery bay, do you? How many do you take at a time?
It depends how many you make, and it depends the speed.
Depends on the speed. How many usually? What's the average sort of number you take down?
If it's like 3 minutes, maybe about 5.
Well, I want you to take it at 4-minute intervals and get it up to 10. 10 boxes every 4 minutes need to go down. Well, according to my calculations...
Open one of your boxes each.
Just a moment.
5 seconds. This will be a mess. Take my time on this.
10. According to my calculations, that's 10 boxes every 5 minutes. All right? 10 boxes to the delivery bay every 5 minutes, which means that you'll be on taking down to the delivery bay all the time. All right, number 7? Very good. Carry on.
What did you say last time?
He says that he's from the management and he's been told to speed up manufacture. He's been told that we'll have to take 10 at a time. But we told him that, we told him we'll take 5. But we told that there's only 5 cakes damaged a day, and if we had to speed it up, it could be about 20.
Yeah. What do you think? Do you think we should find out more, or say no, or what?
5 to the normal. She said, well,
I thought there was some trouble.
I said, after you close the bucket, then roll it, then put the key in.
And is he actually dictating what you have to do?
Yes, and he said,
well, I think we'll have to decide. Let's have a... Bring them all to my office and we'll hold a meeting. Yeah. What is the problem? You see, before we can do anything about it, we have to decide what's bothering us.
Tell him our job. Tell him our job, and he thinks he owns this place or something.
You get the feeling he thinks he owns it? Mm. Well, now, if we go back, what sort of behaviour is he doing then? I mean, is he behaving kindly, or is he sly, or is he behaving... Now, wait a minute, just a minute, don't just jump at that. He hasn't been hiding, has he? He hasn't been hiding what he was doing.
He's being nosy.
He's being nosy, he's behaving in a nosy way, yes. Listen to this voice here.
I think we're better ask him what he's doing, because he might be someone high and get the factory closed down. But it might be someone that's going to get a very big order for it from different countries.
It could be on our side or it could be against us. The thing is, how do we find that out?
Ask him. We'll ask him what he's working for. If he's got an identity card, show him it. And if it's not our proof, if it's not up to standard.
Well, he's standing over there if anybody wants to see. Is there anybody should do it, do you think?
Me. I will.
No.
What's the identity, please? Can you see your card or something? Identity card.
Identity card? I've been called in.
Why?
Well,
Sorry, you'd have to go off. We've got no identity card. You might be trying to con one.
I've been called in.
Why?
I'll leave as soon as I'm ready to make my report.
Why? What told you to come?
The people with authority to tell me to come. My employer sent me.
No, but we don't know you.
Right, I'm not ready to say.
Well, get out then.
Bearing in mind you've seen the people at work and now they've been talking to you, how would you label their behaviour? Would you think it was thoughtful or what?
When I was watching them work, I would have labelled their behaviour confident, almost to the point of careless. But now I've been questioned, I would label their behaviour thoughtless.
Just a minute. He's labelled as thoughtless, so that's how he must have found us. Come back over here. Now then, let's just have a think. Is there any way we could handle him now so he doesn't think we're thoughtless?
Get on with the job. Well, if he asks for questions, ignore him.
You can try.
Ignore him, just get on with your job and then he'll
Well, what do you think's the best for all of us?
Because he hasn't got any identity. So
I might be
Well, let's give him some identity and then we needn't argue over that.
Maybe
Can we see your identity now, please? Then we can get rid of this one. You are a time and motion study man.
Time and motion study,
yeah. Let's go back to work and let's see if this time when he works, just a minute, let's go back to work and this time let's make sure he can't say we were careless.
What chance of it falling out then?
Let's stop again and let's ask the man how he finds our behaviour now. Don't move though, just stay at work.
Certainly I haven't seen any signs of carelessness. The confidence is still there, but what I'm worried now is efficiency.
Now, I'm going to be the problem because one of the laws in this factory, are you listening? One of the laws in the factory is that they have to employ a certain number of older people who've been thrown out of work. So what you've got is a new person at work who isn't going to be very good at it because I've never packed cakes before.
You're throwing up and they're
Well,
getting
all
in the
I know
cakes.
is I was employed as a cleaner and when I came in here I just cleaned.
It seems that it may be more useful to these two ladies if you gave them a hand with the packing. Is that what you were saying, girls?
Well, I don't mind doing anything.
Well, do you think you could just show her how to do the packing?
All I can say is it doesn't feel very nice when you come to do a decent job and everybody's against you.
I know when we've got a reporter, he was doing everything we do. What happens when someone gets food poisoning?
That is not my problem is to try and clean this floor. I only stood there with a bucket and you told me to get out.
No. I don't know when someone's going to slip on the wet floor and smash all the cakes.
Look, this is wasting an awful lot of production time for the firm while we're all discussing this. And two ladies over here have said that they offered an opportunity to this lady to work with him on packing. Isn't that right?
I'm not saying they didn't. I'm just saying I didn't pack the cakes very well, and I've got cream all over my fingers, and I didn't think that was as good as my cleaning.
Well, it's not what you like to do, it's what you have to do.
Well, you managed to get that new packer man changed.
Well, you don't like working in the middle of the day? No, I like working at night times.
But this lady says she doesn't like working late, so I mean, where do we stand now?
Get in your what? Get in your sucker. In the company, where they got this?
Well, the thing is, I genuinely don't believe people notice things like that when they buy cakes. I mean, all you'd have needed to do was keep quiet about it. You needn't have said that there was dust getting on the cakes, and I would have been happy sweeping up, and you'd have been getting on with your work.
They didn't know there was germs in the fish. They still ate them, same with cakes.
I see. But it would be years before they noticed anything wrong with the cakes. I mean, I don't see why you need bother. You probably have moved on to another job.